You know, when we used to talk about finding information online, there was this
Yeah.
this comforting illusion of a map, really.
Right.
You typed a few words into a search bar, and you got a neat ranked list of 10 blue links.
The classic 10 blue links.
Exactly. It was like following street signs. You knew exactly where you were going, and the websites knew exactly how to get you there by just sort of painting those keywords all over their digital billboards.
Yeah, it was incredibly linear.
Yeah.
Very predictable. You optimize for a specific keyword phrase.
Right.
You track your position on that list. And, well, if you hit the top spot, you get the traffic.
Right.
It's a simple transaction of text.
It really was. But stepping into the reality of search on August 20, 2026, it feels like all those street signs have been suddenly taken down.
Oh, total.
Just overnight, the map has been completely replaced by a totally different navigation system.
Yeah.
We're living through an absolute upheaval of the entire search ecosystem. So, okay, let's unpack this, because looking at the latest data from the SEO landscape, specifically on August 20th, 2026, the most jarring reality is Google AI mode.
Yes. The definitive SRP replacement. I mean,
Okay.
it's no longer an experiment.
Right.
It is the core engine.
And the numbers are just staggering. Like, as of August 20, 2026, Google AI mode is activating on 13.7% of all queries across the board. But here's the kicker, the stat that really stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah.
It activates on a massive 64.7% of question form queries.
Wow.
Right, if a user's asking a question, they're almost certainly not getting 10 blue links.
No, not at all. And what's fascinating here is how fundamentally that shatters the old model of search engine optimization.
Yeah.
Because Google's AI mode, which, it evolved to compete directly with ChatGPT and other large language models, it doesn't just fetch links.
Right.
It generates conversational, highly bespoke responses. And the crucial mechanism to understand here is that these responses vary wildly per user.
Oh.
Yeah, the engine factors in their browsing history, their hyper-specific intent in that exact moment, their past preferences.
So it's completely customized.
Exactly. Because of that extreme personalization, traditional position tracking, that comforting map you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
it's virtually obsolete for those queries. There is no longer a universal position one for everyone.
Which is wild to think about. If I search for something and you search for the exact same thing, we are looking at entirely different digital universes.
Precisely.
But there's another layer to this that I find even crazier. About 30% of the sources cited by AI mode do not even appear on the traditional first page of search results.
Yep. That is the specific reality that is forcing a total reinvention of the industry in 2026.
I mean...
Because for over 2 decades, entire businesses were built on the premise that if you aren't on page one, you are effectively invisible.
You just don't exist.
You don't exist. But now, nearly a third of the time, the AI is digging much deeper. It is actively bypassing that traditional gatekeeper. It's pulling from sources that prioritize raw machine readability and extractable knowledge over, traditional keyword density.
Wait, let me push back on that for a second.
Sure.
Or at least look at the silver lining. If 30% of cited sources aren't coming from the legacy page one, doesn't this mean the underdog finally has a real chance?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, let's say you have a massive legacy website, like a colossal media conglomerate that used to monopolize the top spots purely because they had millions of backlinks. If a much smaller, newer site comes along and structures its data perfectly, can it actually leapfrog the giant?
This raises an important question. And the answer is a resounding yes.
Really?
Yes, but it requires a completely different philosophy of optimization because those legacy giants were optimized for a visual layout.
Okay.
They were built to look good to a human and to satisfy a pretty crude algorithm looking for matching text. The underdog, on August 20, 2026, can absolutely win, but they win by formatting their content as pristine training data.
Oh, I see.
They make it semantically rich. They structure the underlying code so the AI can effortlessly digest and extract the precise answer.
Right.
They are winning by being the best possible mathematically verified answer for the machine, not the most aggressively marketed page for a human.
That makes total sense. If the traditional first page is no longer the sole gatekeeper, it forces a complete shift in strategy. And that brings us to GEO, right?
Yes.
Generative engine optimization.
Generative engine optimization, yeah.
If I'm an underdog or even a giant trying not to lose my throne, I'm not just optimizing for Google anymore, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
GEO has officially moved from being a theoretical concept a few years ago to the absolute essential practice of 2026.
Wow.
The ecosystem is heavily fragmented now. You have to optimize for multiple AI engines simultaneously.
Yeah.
And each of these engines has a distinct personality or, well, more accurately, a distinct algorithmic citation preference based on how it was trained.
I love how the industry breaks down these personalities.
Yeah.
Let's look at the big three as of August 2026. You have ChatGPT, which strongly favors conversational depth and robust EEAT signals, so experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Right, the EEAT signals are huge there.
Yeah. Then you have Perplexity, which demands hyper-recent sources with very clear, verifiable citations.
Very strict on that.
And finally, Claude, which looks for nuanced, well-reasoned analytical depth. It honestly makes me think of prepping for different types of job interviews.
Oh, that is a brilliant analogy. Walk us through that.
Well, think about Perplexity as the strict academic panel.
Okay.
You walk into that interview, and they don't care about your charisma.
No.
They just want to see your bibliography, your footnotes, and they want absolute proof that your data is from yesterday, not 5 years ago.
Right. Show me the receipts.
Exactly. Then ChatGPT is the conversational networking event. They want to know you are trustworthy, they want a good natural flow to your ideas, and they want to feel your expertise without you being overly robotic. And then Claude is the deep dive technical interview. They hand you a complex, multi-layered problem and say, show us your reasoning step by step.
Yeah, show your work.
Exactly. The crazy part is, as a digital brand in 2026, you have to dress your content for all three of those interviews simultaneously.
And achieving that requires a monumental shift in how we even conceive of content. You have to weave the clear, hard-coded citations for Perplexity,
Right.
the conversational, trustworthy tone for ChatGPT, and the analytical depth for Claude into the exact same digital entity.
That sounds incredibly difficult.
It is. If your marketing team is still only optimizing for traditional Google search in 2026, you are voluntarily ignoring half of the AI-driven discovery ecosystem.
Wow.
The new metric of success isn't traffic. It's earning that cited in AI status across multiple large language models.
Okay, so to achieve that multi-engine citation, we have to talk about relevance engineering.
Yes.
Because this is officially the successor to traditional keyword SEO. We are way past the days of stuffing the phrase best running shoes into a headline and calling it a day.
Way past that.
But explain the mechanism here. How exactly does relevance engineering differ from the old way?
So relevance engineering is about mapping what we call query fanouts.
Query fanouts.
Yeah. When a user asks an AI assistant a question on August 20, 2026, the AI doesn't just look for a direct keyword match in its index.
Right.
It utilizes semantic search to understand the entire constellation of related questions, intent variations, and underlying concepts surrounding that initial prompt.
Oh, okay.
Relevance engineering means anticipating that fan-out. It's reorganizing your entire content strategy around the holistic, multi-step intent of the user persona.
Okay, let me make sure I'm getting this. Instead of creating one isolated web page targeting the exact phrase best running shoes 2026, I'm supposed to build an entire interconnected ecosystem of information.
Exactly.
I need to answer every logical follow-up question the AI knows the user might have, like things about marathon training plans, the biomechanics of arch support, or the specific chemical durability of EVA foam. I have to totally surround the topic.
Precisely. You are designing your knowledge base to resonate with the audience's underlying needs before they even articulate them.
Wow.
You build a web of relevance. When the LLMs evaluate your site, they see a complete, authoritative cluster of information, which gives them the mathematical confidence to pull from your data.
Okay.
And a massive part of generating that confidence for the machine comes down to trust.
Right.
This is a critical development in 2026. Brand sentiment is no longer just a soft PR metric. It is a direct, hard-coded ranking factor.
The merging of PR and SEO. This is wild.
Yeah.
So if my brand gets positive mentions out in the world, it actively amplifies my visibility in an AI search.
Yes, it does.
And conversely, negative coverage doesn't just hurt my reputation. It can actively suppress an AI from ever citing me.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to remember what large language models fundamentally are.
Okay.
They're massive pattern recognition engines.
Right.
They don't understand your brand. They understand the mathematical proximity of your brand's name to other concepts.
Oh, what?
So if the pattern of your brand across the internet, in news articles, Reddit threads, customer reviews, social media.
Yeah.
If it is statistically associated with words like scam, broken, complaint, or untrustworthy, the AI evaluates your entity as a risk.
It doesn't want to recommend a risk.
Exactly. It wants to provide a safe, authoritative answer to its user. It will hesitate to cite you, no matter how perfectly structured your own website is.
That is huge.
Therefore, PR, reputation management, and SEO are now completely inseparable disciplines. Managing your brand's reputation in 2026 is literally managing your search visibility.
Okay, so let's say I've got the strategy down. I have incredible, trustworthy content that answers the user's intent, and my PR is flawless.
Great.
I'm ready for the academic panel and the networking event, but wait, how does the AI actually know what's on my site if it doesn't care about my visual layout? If it's not looking at my beautiful web design, how do I physically hand it this information?
This is where the back-end technical foundation becomes absolutely critical. AI crawlers do not see fonts or colors. They see data structures.
Right.
To speak your language, you rely on clear entity definitions. In 2026, we are seeing a massive, critical reliance on structured data, specifically the JSON-LD format.
JSON-LD, okay.
Yeah, this involved deploying schemas for FAQs, how-to guides, products, and organizations.
Let me pause you there, because JSON-LD and schema can sound like incredibly dense jargon.
Fair enough.
If I had to explain this simply, is it accurate to say it's like putting digital name tags on every single piece of information on your site?
Yes.
Like instead of making the AI read a paragraph and guess that John Smith is the author, I'm putting a piece of code right next to his name that explicitly says, hey bot, this string of text is a person and their role is author.
That is a perfect ELI 5 explanation.
Oh, good.
It's exactly like filing cabinets with highly specific standardized labels. You aren't forcing the AI to expend computational energy to infer what your text means. You are explicitly declaring it.
Makes it easy for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well-structured FAQ schemas, for instance, are incredibly popular now because they are bite-sized, prepackaged containers of logic.
Right.
You are telling the machine, this is not just a random string of text. This is a distinct entity connected to these other entities.
Right.
This practice, known as entity SEO, is what separates the visible from the invisible on August 20, 2026.
And speaking of helping the bots out, we absolutely have to talk about the LMMs.txt standard.
Oh, yes.
This is fascinating. As of August 20, 2026, it is adopted by 5 to 15% of major websites, and that adoption rate is accelerating rapidly.
Very rapidly.
What exactly is this file doing that the old robots.txt didn't do?
Well, the traditional robots.txt file was basically a keep-out sign.
Right.
It told traditional web crawlers which pages they were allowed to index and which they should ignore, but it didn't tell them what the content actually meant.
It just said yes or no.
Exactly. The LMS.txt standard is entirely different. It acts as a dedicated concierge for large language models. It says, welcome, AI. Here is the most accurate, hyper-condensed, up-to-date training data about our brand, stripped of all human-readable visual formatting.
Wow.
It serves up raw, prioritized data, feeds directly to the models.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about an AI reading your site to answer a question anymore. It's about the AI taking action.
Yes.
We need to talk about Agentic Commerce Protocol, or ACP, and the Model Context Protocol, MCP.
This is the frontier. AI assistants in 2026 are becoming truly agentic. They don't just act as encyclopedias anymore. They act as proxies for the user. They can book your dental appointments. They can order your groceries. They can negotiate a return on a defective product. And they manage your smart home devices.
It's crazy.
But for an AI to do that, the digital infrastructure of the internet has to allow it.
Exactly. It's like giving an AI assistant your credit card and a shopping list.
Yeah.
If I tell my AI, order my usual coffee beans, the AI doesn't open a browser, go to a coffee roaster's website, look at the pictures, and click Add to Cart.
No, it doesn't have eyes.
Right. The AI wants to bypass the visual user interface completely. The Agentic Commerce Protocol is the back-end standard that allows e-commerce sites to facilitate that direct machine-to-machine transaction.
Precise.
And then the Model Context Protocol handles how things like media, news, and subscriptions get surfaced directly through smart environment devices like a Google Nest.
And the implication for businesses here is monumental. Brands that proactively structure their APIs, their product databases, and their inventory feeds for this kind of seamless AI accessibility are the ones positioned to win this agentic future.
But I have to push back here.
Okay.
Or at least admit that I find this profoundly unsettling.
It is a big shift.
Isn't it terrifying that SEO in 2026 now effectively means making your entire business executable by bots? If a brand ignores the agentic commerce protocol, do they literally become invisible to this next generation of smart assistants? Like, if my personal AI can't read your API to buy those coffee beans, do you just not exist in my digital world?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, I would validate that fear completely.
Really?
It's a harsh reality.
Really?
Brands that refuse to adapt their back-end infrastructure will be invisible.
Wow.
SEO has officially expanded far beyond web pages. It is now about executable, machine-parsable infrastructure.
That is just...
I mean, if your online store relies entirely on a human visually navigating a checkout process, an agentic AI literally cannot buy from you.
Right, because you can't click the buttons.
Exactly. And if the consumer has delegated their purchasing power to that AI, which is increasingly the case on August 20, 2026, you have lost the sale. Clean APIs, robust action mapping, and machine protocols are absolute prerequisites for commercial survival.
Wow. Okay, so my mind is spinning a bit. If I am an SEO practitioner facing this agentic future, the old keyword tracking dashboards must be completely useless to me now.
Pretty much.
I can't track a rank if there is no rank. How am I even supposed to measure if my relevance engineering is working? We need a completely updated tech stack to manage this multi-engine, highly semantic, agentic landscape.
We do. And the tools of the trade have had to evolve dramatically to keep pace with this complexity. We can look at this in categories, starting with what we should call the modern command centers.
Right, and Semrush ONE seems to be the definitive default all-in-one platform for this era.
It really is.
They've bridged the gap between traditional research and this new GEO discipline. But what caught my eye isn't just their AI search add-on that tracks ChatGPT and Perplexity.
Right.
It's the mechanism of how it handles the data. They have an AI co-pilot feature.
And that co-pilot is indispensable.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. When you are dealing with the sheer volume of cross-channel intelligence required in 2026, monitoring brand sentiment, mapping query fanouts, tracking API pings from agentic bots.
Right.
A human cannot parse that raw data fast enough.
Too much data.
Way too much. The Semrush ONE Copilot doesn't just hand you a spreadsheet. It interprets the data semantically.
Oh, that's smart.
It surfaces actionable recommendations, highlighting exactly where your relevance is decaying, and it automates the reporting.
Right.
You essentially need an AI to help you analyze your visibility to other AIs.
Fighting fire with fire.
Exactly.
Then, for a slightly more accessible entry point, we see SE ranking.
Yes, very popular.
They have a dedicated AI overview tracker and a GEO dashboard.
Yeah.
But the feature that I think is absolutely brilliant is their identification of gap prompts.
Oh, gap prompts are fantastic.
Can you explain why a gap prompt is such a game changer?
It's a brilliant conceptual shift. A gap prompt analysis doesn't look at keywords, it looks at conversations.
Conversations, okay.
It identifies specific, complex AI prompts where your direct competitors are being cited as the authoritative source by an LLM, but you are entirely absent.
Ouch.
Yeah, it shows you the exact semantic gaps in your content ecosystem. It provides immediate, actionable intelligence on where your relevance engineering has failed to answer a user's unstated question.
It's like finding out exactly what questions you failed on the technical job interview.
Yes, exactly.
SE ranking also includes AI-powered content editors, making it a very strong all-arounder. We're also seeing emergent tools like Trackings.ai and Peak AI, specifically built from the ground up just for multi-engine visibility tracking.
Which is very necessary now.
But wait, even with all these command centers and AI co-pilots interpreting things, isn't there still a need for raw, unfiltered data? Or is it all just AI interpretations now?
Oh, there is an absolute critical need for raw data, and that is where ORIS continues to dominate as the indispensable backbone of the industry.
Really? Still.
Despite all the predictive AI dashboards taking over, ORIS remains the gold standard because of its brute force crawling infrastructure. The defining metric for ORIS on August 20th, 2026 is their index refresh rate for top domains. It refreshes every 15 to 30 minutes.
That is an insane amount of computational power, 15 to 30 minutes.
It's massive.
Well, why is that speed so critical now?
Because the AI ecosystem is violently fast.
Fast, right.
When an LLM like Perplexity is fetching real-time data to answer a query, a backlink, or a brand mention that occurred 2 hours ago could be the deciding factor in whether you get cited.
Wow.
If your data tool only refreshes once a week, you are operating blind in a real-time ecosystem.
That makes sense.
That 15-minute refresh rate is a biological necessity for survival. Ahrefs has also integrated an AI-assisted site explorer that automatically spots toxic link patterns and link velocity anomalies.
Just doing the heavy lifting.
Right. It analyzes the raw plumbing of the internet for technical SEOs who want the hard data without the noise of overly sanitized dashboards.
And it's refreshing to see they still offer a free Webmaster Tools tier for basic site health monitoring, keeping that accessibility alive for smaller sites trying to play the underdog game.
Absolutely.
So, what does this all mean? Let's bring this incredibly complex picture together.
Let's do it.
Based on the reality of August 20th, 2026, SEO is fundamentally no longer about tricking an algorithm with keyword density to win a spot in a list of 10 blue links.
No, those days are gone.
It is entirely about building a pristine, deeply structured, and highly trusted digital entity. You have to move past visual web pages and build machine-parsable infrastructure.
Right.
You must create an ecosystem of knowledge that AI agents don't just want to read, but actively want to cite, extract, and interact with on behalf of their human users.
That synthesis captures the paradigm shift perfectly.
Thank you.
And analyzing this reality leads me to a final thought I'd like to pose to everyone listening, building off the mechanisms we've discussed today.
Ooh, I love a good final thought.
So we see the lmballs.txt standard rapidly accelerating in adoption, acting as a direct feed for AI training.
Right.
We see the agentic commerce protocol enabling AI assistants to bypass visual websites entirely to make purchases via APIs.
Yep.
So this raises a profound question. If AI engines increasingly bypass human-readable websites to directly parse structured data,
Okay.
and if human users increasingly rely entirely on their AI assistants to browse the web for them, will future websites even need visual user interfaces?
Oh, wow.
Or is the internet destined to become a massive, invisible machine-to-machine database where humans only ever interact with their personal AI assistant and the concept of visiting a web page becomes a relic of the past?
Wow. That completely changes how we think about digital real estate.
It does.
It's like we started this deep dive talking about losing the comforting map of the old search engine, but what you're suggesting is that eventually the territory itself becomes invisible to us.
Exactly.
The AI just teleports the exact knowledge or physical item we want right into our hands entirely behind the scenes.
Seamlessly.
It's a wildly different, slightly intimidating, but incredibly fascinating landscape on August 20, 2026. Keep questioning the map, keep structuring your data, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.